Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. And it is crazy, isn't it? There's a few crazy stories that we're going to talk about today. So many things I wanted to talk to you about. 3 stories in the main here. We've got Travis Decker, the killer dad, still on the run, or in my personal opinion, probably deceased somewhere. But just a video has come out about him in a traffic accident that he was in just a couple of days before he murdered his children. So we're going to look at that. Then we're going to look at this very freaky story about the Annabelle doll and the curse of the Annabelle doll, and the psychic medium, the psychic investigator who was on tour with this doll and who's passed away mysteriously. Is it the curse of Annabelle? Do you believe in these kind of things? I mean, he obviously did, because he was doing a tour about it. And then finally, we're going to talk about this very sad case of Peter Falconio, who's a British backpacker, murdered many years ago now. And his killer, or the person who's been serving a sentence for being his killer, has just died in Australian prison without disclosing still where Peter Falconio's remains are. And is he really the killer? Did Peter's girlfriend know more about it than she was letting on? It's a very mysterious case. But somebody was held accountable for it, sentenced for it, and now they've just deceased. But they still have not given up where the remains are of Peter's. But, so Peter's family have never been able to bring him, give him a respectful burial, etc. So we're going to look at that. So these are the 3 things we're going to look at today. There's going to be a lot of waffle. I've got a lot of things to waffle about. So I just want to, some people like the waffle. I'm going to present these 3 cases or stories and talk about them all individually. And then later I am going to split them and release them without the waffle, just as the video themselves. So if you're a person basically who doesn't like waffle, you're probably better off waiting for the individual videos to come out. And then, of course, a lot of people like the waffle. So if you like the waffle, you're better off watching the live. Of course, there's always more waffle in the live. But I will be splitting it off for people who don't like that, who like shorter videos. So try and please everybody. People pleaser. Try my best to please everybody. I know some people won't be happy whatever I do, but that's okay. So first bit of waffle is thank you, my thank yous. So thank you to everyone for watching, for liking, subscribing. Very important for me that you like and subscribe the videos or dislike the videos. At the end of the day, every bit of every bit of God, I can't think straight today. It's hot again. It's hot. So hot. Too hot. Every bit of participation helps towards the algorithm, really, whether it's positive or negative. But we prefer positive, obviously. So, yeah, don't forget to like or subscribe. And then a special thank you to those of you who go that little bit further, my members. I'm going to go over to my Spanish and English channel in a moment. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a Spanish teacher. I have 2 channels, but I have started putting the crime videos on the Spanish and English channel as well, because people seem to enjoy them on there. I can't put the channels together, unfortunately, or I'm not quite sure how to do it. And everything that I look up about it warns me about doing it, because you can end up losing a channel completely. So, of course, on this channel, I've got not that far off 5,000 subscribers, just 4,000 something. On my Spanish and English channel, I've got nearly 3,000 subscribers. So it'd be nice to be able to put them together, wouldn't it? But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just it makes double the work when I'm loading videos, etc. But thank you, whichever channel you're watching on. Thank you for new members on the other channel. And that's what I'm going to do now, because on the Spanish and English channel, you think it's confusing? It's very confusing. That was my first channel. So that's YouTube recognizes that as my main channel, and YouTube lets you give away 10 free memberships every month. But they don't let me do it on the Vicky Marie Chats channel because that's a subsidiary channel. So I can only do it on the Spanish and English channel. So if you want to get free membership for a month, it's important to watch on there, because I think, you know, nobody knows how YouTube decides who the memberships go to. You know, this is something that I'm always asking YouTube, and not me, only me, I'm sure other creators as well, asking YouTube, why can't we choose who we give the free memberships to? But anyway, we can't. So I'm going to give away the 10 free memberships for this month on there. I'm going to do that in a moment. But thank you to all of you that are already members. It's Thursday today. Members live, normally on a Thursday. Got a little bit of a problem tonight because England are playing, the women's England team are playing, the Lionesses in the Euros. So I'm not sure what time yet. But at some point, either today or tomorrow, there will be a members live, as there is every week. And of course, if you remember, you get to use the members emojis as well. But, you know, just apart from anything, you support my channel. It's very important to me as a creator to keep the channel going, along with your nice comments that you leave. I've had some lovely comments again. Thank you. These are the things that keep me going. I want to apologise in advance for not replying to emails. I've got completely lost with emails, actually, but I am going to catch up over the weekend. What else? Yeah, thank you to those who've PayPal'd me. Any way that you have helped support my channel, thank you. But especially watching, subscribing, liking. These are the free ways you can support my channel. It means a lot to me. So I think we'll do that first, actually. Oh, no, I'll say hello to people first. So, hi, replay crew. Hi, lovely lurkers. Hi, loathsome lurkers. And now I'm going to say hello to those of you who are brave enough to venture into the chat. Let me take my banner off. You know, it's still too hot. I'm not quite with it. It is currently 28 degrees. That's cool compared to how it's been recently. But it's so draining, and your brain definitely doesn't work properly when you're too hot. That's for sure. I can't even work out how to take the banner off. Let me come into the chat and say hello to everybody. That'll make me feel better. Hi, Julie. Yeah, 38 degrees yesterday. Julie, of course, is in Spain also. I'm in Spain, in case people didn't know. It was horrible yesterday. It's going to be horrible today. Just counting down the days till August, when it'll be a tiny little bit, hopefully, cooler. At night, at least, shorter days. And then there's only another month, and it's September. And then it won't be long before I'll be whinging about the cold. Yes, probably Julia will be covering the air crash thing in another video. Hi, Skits. Hi, Bluebell. Oh, sorry to hear you're under the weather. Hope you get well soon. Hi, Sean. Yeah, the Annabelle doll. Oh, Sean likes waffle. We're not talking. Hi, Daniel, but we're not talking about Christian in this. Hi, David. No, I don't think they have. Don't think they have. Sean. But anyway, we'll have a look in a minute. David, Bluebell. Yeah, good luck to the England ladies. Oh, no, I didn't put my banner as green. I'm not with it this morning. I have to say, I don't know why I slept really well. I've got to say, I did sleep well. Maybe I slept too well. Do you ever find that? It's like sometimes you sleep that well, you feel like a zombie the next day. I feel like I'm still asleep. Just can't get my brain into gear in this heat at all. And I woke up too late. You know, normally I get up really early, and I was about an hour and a half later getting up. It was still 7:30. I mean, I get up early. but I got up much later than I normally do, and that sets me back. Apart from the heat, I couldn't decide what necklace to wear, couldn't decide what dress to wear, couldn't decide what earrings to wear. I did manage to put my makeup on. I thought, oh God, my makeup looks okay. But I don't think anything that I'm wearing goes. And then I've got the chair cover behind, so this really weird mixture of colours. Oh dear me. And I like to colour coordinate normally, but I don't feel very colour coordinated today. But hey, do you know what? It's not the end of the world, is it? The world goes on turning whether Vicky Marie Chats is colour coordinated or not. Okay, let's go. And so, first thing I'm going to do before I forget, because I've forgotten for a few days that I've been meaning to do this, is right. Hang on, I don't know if that's the right one or not. Right. Right. That's the wrong one. Let's try again. So I was going on to it's going to be a disaster. Sorry. It's like anything that I normally just think of straight. It takes me a few minutes to process everything that I'm trying to do to let my brain catch up with it. Is it that one? That's the wrong one. I've got to get onto my Spanish one. As usual, I've got too many windows open, so finding that's right. Let's see. I don't think I have to share it, actually. I think I can just. So, I'm going to give away these 10 memberships on my other channel. Oh, God, I've got to change over to that channel. Oh, my God, it's a nightmare having 2 channels. Oh, no, that should be right, shouldn't it? I'm going to cry because I can't do it. Right, so I'm going to send 5 memberships now. They should come up, the ones that are awarded memberships. We've got Mrs. Skeptical, Andrasta Wolf, SKB Betty, Oh Hell's Bells Heaven, and Eva Ryder have all received a gifted membership. Thank you for watching. Now I'm going to give away the next 5. Oh, no, it's telling me to start a poll. I don't want to start a poll. Oh. And the next 5 are going to Amanda Southern, Joanne B, Deblina. Oh, Sean the Sheep. So Sean, you've received a membership on the Spanish and English channel as well. And Shay. So now I don't know if they come up. So I might need to show them. Because the other thing is, when I'm on one particular channel, the other channel doesn't necessarily come up. So anyway, I've given away those. I've read out who's got them. And thank you for watching. Yeah, Angel, you keep saying it's never you, but do you watch the Spanish and English channel, and have you got your memberships open? I don't think you've got your memberships open, and of course you do have to watch the other channels sometimes as well. So having said that, I've no idea how it works, no idea whatsoever. Maybe now you're working again, maybe you'll join us in the members. That'd be good. Be nice to see you in the members. So where had I got to? Hi, Angel, by the way. So first thing we're going to talk about is the twonk. Well, you might say which twonk, because you know what, there's so many bloody twonks, isn't there, that we end up talking about. But this one is a real twonk. Like a real, I don't think there's many more twonks than this one. Because this man, Travis Decker, he killed his 3 daughters. He's estranged from his wife, and he had like a very minimal custody of the girls. Peyton, Olivia. Peyton's the oldest. Olivia, I think, is the second oldest. Like, let me check, because it's important to get these things right, isn't it? Let's see. No, so Peyton is the oldest, then Evelyn, then Olivia. Yeah. So bless them, these 3 girls, but they're all, 8 is the oldest. So very young girls. He was given a minimal sort of custody order where he's allowed to have them for a couple of hours at the weekend. His wife, Whitney, was trying to fight that, she didn't think he should have any custody because she said he had mental health issues. He's an ex-veteran. He's supposed to be really good at survival, etc. Though some of the police say he's not that, he's not anything remarkable. But anyway, quite a long time ago now. I think it's got to be, how long ago was it now? All right, I've got to put some windows down, so this is just ridiculous. It's got to be 2 months ago now, surely. It doesn't say the date. Gosh, when you're trying to find a date out, it's like... So yeah, Peyton is 9, Evelyn 8, and Olivia 5. And their father, Travis, who's 32, killed all 3 of them. And not only that, I mean, it was horrific because, he tied their hands behind their back and put plastic bags over their head at a campground. Now, he then disappeared completely. I still can't find the actual date that it happened. God, you'd think it'd just be easy, wouldn't you? Just to look up a date. I think it was in June. June the 2nd. June the 2nd, and we're now on the 17th of July. So it was a long time ago. And these poor girls were found dead near a Washington state campground. And since then, nothing is known of Travis. I mean, there's been a couple of false sightings. I mean, these sightings, they waste so much police time, don't they? Because obviously if the police, let me take that off now because I just want to show you this news article. I know, people's heart is in the right place when they report sightings of people like this, but it wastes so much police time. They have to go and chase it down. There's been 2 sightings supposedly of Travis, at least 2, that the police have had to go and waste time and effort researching, and it hasn't been Travis. I would be very surprised if this man is still alive. I think he was probably dead right from more or less day one. I'm just surprised they haven't found his body in the vicinity of the girls' bodies. But he may have gone into the water, or he may have gone and, taken his life somewhere where he knew he wouldn't be found quickly. Maybe he didn't want to be found. Maybe he wanted to waste police time. But then I think, well, why would he? I mean, once he'd killed those girls, why would he want to, stop the police from finding his body? He left the girls openly. The girls weren't hidden at all. They were right near his truck. His dog was there, all his belongings, his phone, etc. So it just seems strange to me that he would hide his own body, or his own death if he is dead, or maybe he is on the run. Maybe, apparently he'd been looking at living in Canada. Maybe he has gone to Canada. I just don't see it, unless he had another bag, like a grab bag with him, because he, as I say, left everything there with him. And to me, it's a surprise his dog was still there, because why didn't his dog follow him? So it's a bit odd. Anyway, it's been from forensic examinations, and it seems like nobody else was involved, because there was a brief time when I thought maybe somebody else did it, and he's dead somewhere, because there was a bloody fingerprint found on the van, but it seems like there was no other DNA there apart from Travis's DNA. So it seems that it was Travis who did it. I feel sorry for his wife, obviously, apart from the fact of losing these 3 lovely daughters. She must be terrified in case he's going to come after her, because apparently a couple of days before he'd asked her to come back to him, and she'd refused. She didn't want to go back to him. She'd been to the police, she'd been to the court, she said she was concerned about him. Nobody listened, and he's still, because it was a court order, she had to let those girls go and be with this monster of a father of theirs, who then took their lives in a horrible, brutal way, tied their hands behind their back, put bags over their face. It's like Chris Watts all over again, isn't it? But even worse. And, Whitney tried to stop it. The mum tried to stop it, and she couldn't. It must be awful. Can't even imagine. And, maybe he has got mental health issues, but I'm not having it. He can have PTSD, he could have anything, but it doesn't. How many people have got PTSD from being army veterans or from trauma in their lives? Or how many people got mental health issues? Don't murder their 3 daughters by putting plastic bags over their heads. There's got to be more to it. Nobody, who would even think about that? So he's got to be a narcissist. He's got to be, have just not a nice person to do that. It's not about PTSD. A lot of veterans take their own lives, don't they? And that is PTSD, but then taking the lives of your children. Sorry, can't take any. It's horrible. He's going to hell. I hope. Anyway, I've got no sympathy. I have no sympathy for him. So let's have a look at this interview. So what we're going to look at basically, it's just the only news really, if you like, because, the police have been looking for him all this time. They're still looking for him. I think they'll find him in the end, but I think they will find his body. That's my own personal opinion, but we'll see. I'm surprised they haven't found him already. They haven't. So he may be on the run somewhere. But so this video has emerged. This video was taken just a couple of days before he did this terrible act to his daughters. And he apparently, it was the second accident he'd had. I mean, you can see that his head's not really all there. I mean, and he was homeless, I think, and this, that, and the other, and he was probably paranoid. I expect there's drugs involved. You know, I just can't believe that anybody could do that unless they were having some sort of psychotic break due to drugs or alcohol or whatever. Who could do what he did in the cold light of day? Anyway, so apparently been involved in 2 accidents in his truck. Both times he'd gone into the back of somebody. So he's obviously distracted. Anyway, this video now has just been released of the 2nd accident. And that's what we're going to watch when I find it. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, it's an interesting video because it does show that apparently the guy who spoke to him, the guy whose car he went into, said he was aggressive, he was distracted, he was acting very odd, and he just seemed to be paranoid that he was going to go to prison. So let's have a look from the beginning.
Public has never seen before. It's a look at Travis Decker the public has never seen before. The King 5 investigators have obtained a video of the alleged killer in Wenatchee that was tucked away in police files until now. Glad you're with us at 6:30. I'm Greg Copeland.
I'm Joyce Taylor. Chris Ingalls has exclusive new details about the man accused of murdering his 3 daughters.
1941.
It's the most routine of calls. A fender bender on the street just outside a Safeway store in Chelan County.
35-1941.
Responding Wenatchee police officer Timothy Jeffress walks up to 2 men. In days, one of them will become the most wanted fugitive in the country. That's Travis Decker in the white T-shirt, just after his truck rammed this Ford Mustang at a stoplight. The police report says Decker was cited for no insurance and following too closely.
Last of Decker, first of Travis.
The officer's dash cam recorded this encounter 3 days before Decker picked up his daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, from his ex-wife's home, and police say killed them at a campsite outside Leavenworth. In the manhunt that followed, investigators released photos and this Ring doorbell video of the 39-year-old Decker. But this video, at 19 minutes, 41 seconds long, is more revealing. The man whose car Decker hit declined an on-camera interview, but he described Decker as nervous.
So here he is. So yeah, he looks very distracted, of course. You know, when I look at him, like, he looks like an ex-army person. You know, he's quite muscly, isn't he? And I just think about those little girls. You know, what a man, eh? What a big man he is. What a big man to murder 3 little girls. God, you know, wow, what a man. What a man. Just makes me so angry, you know. There he is with his big muscles and everything. And, oh, yeah, you know, life's not treating him very well. So, oh, I know, I'll take it out on my 3 little daughters. Just foul. Foul, foul, foul.
And fidgety. He kept telling me, please, not to call police. The man said he was sympathetic, but had to report.
Oh, please don't call the police. I don't want to go to prison. Oh, my God, because I'll bump into some real men there, not little kids that can't stand up to me. No, just pathetic coward. Pathetic coward. Oh, no, don't ring the police. Because I've got plans to kill my daughters. And I wonder how this man feels. I mean, obviously it isn't his fault. But, you know, you just think, God, and the police that do come, I think the police do come. How do they feel? Everybody will be thinking, oh, maybe we could have done something. Maybe we could have stopped. Everyone will be blaming themselves except him. Because he'll have either taken himself away from this planet or he'll be living rough and just try and go off somewhere and start a new life. What a coward. Look at him. He's broad, he's muscular. Just overpowered those girls and murdered them brutally. Foul.
To crash. And Decker looked almost intimidating to me, although it was more a vibe than anything Decker said.
Yeah.
In the video, we see Decker with his arms crossed, looking almost bored. Then he walks over and leans against his truck. Later, he sits on the bumper and then rests his head on the truck bed like he's exhausted. But it was the conversation with the crash victim that was the most unusual. I could tell he was not in his full senses, the man said, describing Decker's odd questions and answers and his body language. Decker complained, "I'm going to jail," and the man couldn't seem to convince him that he wouldn't be jailed over a minor traffic accident.
Now, the thing is, this is another thing that makes me think he's probably deceased. Though sometimes men like that, twonks like that, men or women, they haven't got the guts to do it to themselves. Do you know what I mean? He's like murdered his 3 little daughters who were defenseless. But he probably hasn't got the guts to do it to himself. He'd be too scared. He should be bloody scared as well, because he knows exactly where he's going, which is to hell. But if he's worried about going to prison for a traffic offence, he's not going to want to go to prison, is he, for killing his 3 daughters? He's obviously concerned about going to prison. So that's, I do feel that he may have taken his life. I don't know. And when they said there was a bloody fingerprint on the truck, because he didn't kill the girls, there wouldn't have been any blood, I don't think, from what he did to the girls, because it was, as I say, tying their hands behind their back and putting a bag over their head. Do you imagine what that was like for those girls? Oh my God, unless he did shoot them. I don't know. I don't know. The police hasn't released anything like that. Just doesn't bear thinking about. Maybe he has done something to himself, but yeah, big man, big coward, scared of going to prison. Yeah.
In the days after the girl's disappearance in early June, we reported on court records revealing Decker's mental health issues, that he was homeless and living out of his truck. This was one of 2 car crashes that may have been more evidence that the former Army Ranger was spiraling out of control. King 5 obtained this brief police report from his first car accident on May 4th, in which the caller was rear-ended by a truck continued on. With a license plate number, police determined the hit-and-run driver was Travis Decker.
Yeah, so that's 2 similar accidents, that he'd had within a short space of time. Both of him going into the back of another car. So he's obviously, distracted.
The victim in that accident declined an on-camera interview, but said he did not pursue charges because his white Honda CR-V was not damaged. He said he did not know Decker was the runaway driver until we called. 3 weeks after that hit and run, the dash cam video of the next crash ends with Decker extending his hand in what would become an uncomfortable 9-second-long handshake, with Decker asking the man if he'll be okay and holding a firm grip. The crash victim told me today that his heart stopped when he saw a Facebook post 4 days later that said Decker had disappeared with his 3 daughters. This whole thing's been very upsetting to him, and he doesn't want to believe that he could have had anything to do with pushing Decker over the edge. But Joyce and Greg, I got to tell you, after watching this man's demeanor on the video, after talking to him in the way he talked to Travis, treating him with respect, he didn't have anything to do with that. He just got caught up in this terrible situation that nobody's ever going to be able to explain.
Wow, incredible that you got access to that. Thank you.
Yeah. And you can see a lot more from the King 5 investigators in their monthly spotlight streaming right now. The latest episode dropped today. Just download the King 5 Plus app on your TV and you can watch for free. It's a look at Travis Decker. The public.
So I just want to show you that because that's the latest thing that has come out about it. Hopefully there'll be some news soon. He'll be either caught or they'll find his remains. I can't decide what I think is a preferable outcome. I wouldn't care if he was deceased, of course, but then it'd be quite nice if he was brought back to face up to what he'd done. So, I don't know. But anyway, whatever it is, I'm not in control of it. He's in control of it. If he was any sort of a father, he would come back and face the music for what he did to these beautiful little girls, wouldn't he? Okay, so that's really all there is to say about that. Just wanted to show you that video. I thought it was quite interesting. You know, he'd had 2 minor sort of traffic accidents just before it all happened. I think that last one was just 2 or 3 days before he took the girls, and you could see he was paranoid about going to prison. Yeah, and apparently the guy said he was sort of quite aggressive, but in his, not openly aggressive, but just worried that he might end up in prison, etc. But he didn't. Unfortunately, shame he didn't go to prison, really. So, okay, let's change. So now we're going to talk about this Annabelle doll and the very sad death of a psychic investigator because of it. Let me just change over the pictures on here. Yeah, this is a very strange story. Now, if like me, I do like a good ghost story. In the members, we talked about that Tell Us of Alice ghost story and another one as well. I do like a good ghost story. I'm a half believer in things even like this. Dolls, of course, are totally creepy, aren't they? I mean, I don't mean Cindy's and Barbies and Tresses. I mean, the old Victorian dolls and things like that. And then, of course, ventriloquist dolls and, the Chucky films and things like that have sort of, made us associate dolls with, creepy things. But this one, especially the Annabelle doll, it just looks totally creepy, doesn't it? Let's have a look at, I'll just tell you a little bit about the history of the Annabelle doll. Now, a lot of people think they are possessed, and, I don't know. I don't believe it or not believe it. I literally don't have a view on it, if you like. It could be true. I sort of, there's lots of what I noticed when I went on, when you research about this, there's loads of social media videos about it, articles about it. Let's have a look at some of the stories about the Annabelle doll itself. It does look completely creepy, doesn't it? I wouldn't want it in my house, would you? Really, would you put that in your house? Have that in the corner of your bedroom? No, thank you. No, thank you. But some people, I say I'm intrigued by these things, but I don't want one. I don't want one in my house. God, I couldn't sleep with that in my house, that's for sure. So let's have a look at what we can learn about the Annabelle doll. Can dolls really be haunted? So you've got all these stories, like the one we're going to talk about is this paranormal investigator who's died while on tour, doing a tour of the Annabelle doll, with the Annabelle doll, actually touring with it. And he's died of mysterious circumstances. So that's the main thing we're going to look at. But yeah, the real Annabelle doll, let's just have a look. What's that? The real Annabelle doll comes to SA, San Antonio. And I think this is the guy here. Let's have a look at this, actually. I just like it. So, yeah, Jose Riviera. I think that's him, isn't it? Let's have a look.
Is Dan Rivera from the New England
Rivera, yeah.
Search, and Ryan Buell from the show Paranormal State. Okay, guys, the true story of where Annabelle came from is similar to what we see in the Conjuring movie, right?
Absolutely. The makers of the Conjuring movie did the doll, the backstory of Annabelle, justice, where it was 2 nurses who were experiencing a haunting. They brought in a psychic, thought it was a little girl. They invited her to stay. They got her a doll, a Raggedy Ann.
Now, I've not seen the Conjuring films. I'm going to watch them. I'm going to see if I can find them maybe on Netflix or on YouTube. Have you seen them? Have you seen the Conjuring films? They're apparently all about this Annabelle doll. And you can see they're smiling. They're talking about it like it's serious in one way, but they're smiling. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, isn't it? But that poor guy, he's dead. He's touring with this doll and he's dead. I think it's so creepy. Because as you can see, he's not an old man. He's not an old man, is he? I mean, it could be just a coincidence, but I don't know. What do you think?
And doll as like a gift, and then it wreaked havoc.
And that's one thing that's different from the doll we see in the movie, right?
Yeah, it's different because, you know, the Raggedy Ann doll is copyrighted. So when Warner Brothers went to Mattel and said, hey, can we use your doll for a horror movie? They were like, no.
Yes. Okay, so are we safe here with the doll?
As safe as one can be, right? I mean, we are taking precautions.
So they've put a tarot card up there, the devil tarot card. I mean, just asking for trouble, really, aren't you? You know, and funnily enough, actually, in tarot, the devil normally means like being, you can't move on from things. You know, you're trapped, enslaved, or that kind of thing. I mean, honestly, I'll be glad when I finish this video, actually, about this doll, because just looking at that doll now gives me the absolute heebie-jeebies.
Cautions. Okay, the case is blessed. Everything about it is intentional. We have a Roman Catholic priest that's been traveling with us and will be present at all times. And as long as no one does anything stupid or provokes, you know, everyone should be fine. We're here on standby too, with holy water, holy oil. I mean, we take this very seriously.
I mean, you even have holy water for us before we leave, right? And I'm all about that. And I think everybody over here is nodding as well. Okay, so is it true that the doll has been caught moving on camera?
I can't speak to that per se, but people have had a lot of
Moving on camera, and that doll sat there with its legs open like it's man. It's just so freaky. Who's made that doll? Just horrible. Look, and look, are we safe? Well, he's not safe, is he?
experiences with the doll. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier.
Okay. And Dan, you have a story too, right?
Yeah, the first time when I built this case and moved Annabelle into it, we had an event that evening. When we were returning her back to the museum, there was a St. Michael pendant on that case on the lock. And once we entered into the museum, that pendant flew off the case and flew across the room. I thought that was very strange, but it caught me off guard.
Yeah, it was very strange, Dan. You know, I mean, how old? I think he's maybe in his 50s, is he? Maybe at the most. So I'll have a look in a minute. So I don't think there's been an autopsy yet. I don't know, but I'm going to have a look in a minute. In fact, I'll probably have a look while I play.
That was Annabelle saying I didn't want to be in that case.
Oh.
Okay. And of course, as you mentioned, it is blessed on the regular by a priest, right? That also travels with the doll. Is it true that the doll once caused a fatal motorcycle accident after someone mocked her?
Yes, there was a gentleman that came into the museum when Ed was giving the tours, and he came in and he knocked on the glass and says, "If you're real, put scratches on me." Ed saw that and told the gentleman, you have to leave the museum, and you don't do that. I told you not to do that. The gentleman and his girlfriend went on.
Oh, what? He went up to the doll and said, "If you're real, put scratches on me," like tempting fate.
Off on the motorcycle back to where they came from, and they never made it home. They got into a motorcycle accident, and the gentleman perished, and the girlfriend survived.
Wow. Okay. Is it true that the Annabelle doll once wrote notes saying, "Help me"?
Yes, on parchment paper. So when the nurses had the doll, when they would come home from work, they will see these pieces of parchment paper written in crayon saying "Help me" on it. So that's when the activity started happening in the house. And they had to call the warrant. Well, actually, they called the priest first. And then the priest says, "Well, I don't know much about this. I know somebody that is involved with these haunted objects." And they gave them the information of Ed and Lorraine Warren to come in and help them with that case.
Okay. Okay. And so this venue can really get a lot of people in the spirit of things at the event, Spirit Fest, happening this weekend, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're into the paranormal, if you're curious about the paranormal, The Psychic Fest is a great place to come, and the Black Swan Inn is actually very haunted itself. Very active. I've investigated had almost a dozen times already.
What are some things that folks can look forward to at this event?
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things, aside from the fact that we have psychics, vendors.
I mean, it looks fantastic, doesn't it? You know, if you're interested in the paranormal, which I am, I'd love to go on ghost hunts and stuff like that. I wouldn't like to get involved in any spooky doll things or whatever, and I would be very respectful towards this doll. So what that guy said to it, like, if you're real, put scratches on me, I would never say anything like that. And it makes you wonder if there is something in it, which Dan Riviera believes there's something in it because he's doing the tour with it. Maybe the doll didn't like being just lugged around. Maybe this spirit, not the doll, but the spirit, whatever is in the doll, if there is anything, just didn't like being lugged around from place to place. Maybe he made an off-the-cuff comment one day as he was walking past it. I just don't know. Anyway, we're going to have a look in a minute what he's supposed to have died of. I don't think they know for certain yet.
Speakers. It's very diverse. You get to meet the community around South Texas that is into the paranormal, that researches the paranormal. And then, of course, if you have had an experience, there can be some judgment there, right? Out in the outside world. But here at this event, you're around like-minded people, right? We're not here to judge. We're very open to this.
Now, pre-sale tickets are sold out, but there is still a chance for folks to be able to get in, right?
The Curious Twins are offering 100 tickets at the door, first come, first serve. So get here early.
Okay, and Sunday has even been added, right, for just seeing Annabelle, right?
Yeah, we know that the demand to see Annabelle is so high because this is the furthest she's ever come. So we did add Sunday. Again, pre-sales have sold out, but there are going to be 100 tickets at the gate.
Okay, anything else people need to know if they come out to Psychic and Spirit Fest, and if they do go face-to-face with Annabelle?
So we just say be respectful, do not provoke. We take this very seriously.
Do not provoke.
Right? So as long as you show respect, Annabelle will give you respect.
And please do not touch anything.
Don't worry, we're not. We're not. Okay, so don't forget, Psychic and Spirit Fest 2025 is happening tomorrow from 4 to 11 p.m. at Victoria's Black Swan Inn, and Sunday 11 to 3 p.m. just for the Warren Occult Museum.
So here's some pictures of Dan, all different pictures of Dan. I can't say I'd ever heard of him before, but obviously he was quite famous. And yeah, it is the Nora Batty pose, David, isn't it? She sat there with her legs wide open. Oh, God. Now, she's obviously because that's a slightly different pose to this pose. So she's obviously been touched. The poses are slightly different. So maybe she didn't like him going in and, oh my God, there's a massive wasp flying around me. Oh my God. Anyway, it's gone off in the kitchen now, thank God. Massive. Oh God, there's loads of insects at the moment because of the heat. So yeah. Right, let's have a look at another video about it that I wanted to look at. And turn that one off. I'm trying to put some of these windows down. Oh, where's it gone? Anyway. Let's have a look at this. Police share findings into the Annabelle doll handler. So he's her handler. He's the person who's been handling her. It's his doll, or he's been handling her. Here's what police found at the scene. Let's have a look at this video.
Annabelle doll expert Dan Rivera, who died at 54 years old on July 13th while touring cross-country with the
So what, 54 years old?
horror relic. Pennsylvania police sharing a report on X July 16th saying Dan was discovered by coworkers in his hotel room. USA Today previously reported he was being given CPR when first responders arrived. The report now noting nothing unusual or suspicious was observed at the scene, as law enforcement awaits results from Dan's autopsy, with no cause of death details being shared, but the reports listed natural causes for now. Dan was a longtime member of the New England Society of Psychic Research, which held a viewing of the Annabelle doll hosted by Dan one day before he died. Now the organization saying in a statement, their tour with this supposedly haunted Raggedy Ann doll will carry on.
Oh.
Quote, we believe with all our hearts that Dan would have wanted the work to...
Oh my God, they're carrying on the tour. Now, you know, probably Dan did die of a heart attack or something like that. You know, plenty of men in their 50s or women in their 50s, you know, die of heart attacks all the time. And if he wasn't touring with a haunted doll, nobody would have really thought anything of it. You know, that's the time when people do get heart disease, etc. And sometimes stress can cause it, or, you know, heat. Of course, that's why they tell people in this terrible heat, you know, to just not go out too much and not make too much effort, because if you've got any kind of heart problem, it's going to be worse in the heat. And it may be that whether Dan had been touring with that doll or not, he may still have died. But it just seems a bit weird to me. And he believed in it. You know, he was the one that was telling people to be respectful, etc. So, you know, it's he believed in it, didn't he? He believed in the Annabelle doll. So it just makes you wonder, maybe she was sick of touring. Maybe she'd had enough. Maybe she thought, I'm sick of this. Everybody keep looking at me and what have you. I mean, you know, it all comes down to whether you believe in these kind of things or not. And that he did believe in them, of course. But the police are saying no suspicious circumstances. You know, don't know.
Continue. The group was founded by legendary demonologist Lorraine and Ed Warren, whose work inspired the Conjuring horror franchise, including their haunted history with Annabelle, whom the pair once said was demonically possessed.
Oh my God. You know, this is what I mean, these dolls. I could have nightmares about that.
Beyond terrified. We don't know what's going on or what to do. Can you help us?
Yes, we can. Firstly, there's no such thing as Annabelle, and there never was.
Ghosts don't possess such power. I think what we have here is something extremely manipulative. It's something inhuman.
This summer...
So, yeah, I mean, he believed in it. He believed in it. And now, unfortunately, he's deceased. And as I say, we have to wait and see if anything else comes out. But let me just see any other news. You know, just seems a bit, I mean, of course, it's news all over the world. It's in the Spanish news. It's all out, you know, it's news everywhere because he was quite famous. And he was famous for touring with this doll. And he's just died mysteriously. Just suddenly, mysteriously, in his hotel room while he's touring with the Annabelle doll. So I think it all just comes down to, you know, what you believe in. And Dan believed in it. So it makes you wonder, did he disrespect the doll? Is it some sort of curse from the doll? Or is it just a horrible coincidence? Because coincidences happen, don't they? So, you know, very scary. So, yeah, now it would, what Alana's saying, it's true, damage control, because the death will drop ticket sales. Well, it could go two ways, couldn't it? Because some people will be more likely to go now because of this, won't they? Some people... it will add to the sort of, you know, the mystery of this doll and make people more, because some people just like that guy, the motorcyclist who said, oh, if you're real, you know, give me some scratches, and then died in a motorbike accident. You know, I wouldn't even want to put that to the test. But some people do like doing that, don't they? They like to go and challenge things. So I'm sure there'll be more people in one way wanting to go because of the doll, this happening to Dan. And then, of course, there'll be a load of people who maybe were going to see the doll and now don't want to go because they're bloody terrified. You know, there'll be a mixture probably. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you about that. Now we're going to have a little break now because I'm going to go and get a drink and have a toilet, a bathroom break. Again, not 9 seconds, but not 9 minutes. And when I come back, we're going to talk about this other, to me, it's again a mysterious case. I don't think this case is cut and dried. So what's happened recently is Peter Falconio, who was murdered in Australia many years ago. This is the guy that was accused of murdering him, and he has died of natural causes. He wasn't near the Annabelle doll. He had, well, say natural causes, he had throat cancer, I believe. But he was in prison. Let me change the Annabelle doll now. Oh, I'll be glad to take that off. It does give me the creeps, that doll. So, yeah, this is the story of Peter Falconio, who was backpacking in Australia with his girlfriend and ended up being murdered. Now, of course, all the testimony that we have from this occurrence comes from the girlfriend, because the alleged perpetrator and the convicted perpetrator, we must say he was convicted, and he served quite a long time in prison before his death the other day, but he's always claimed innocence. He's never said where Peter Falconio's body is. And despite, you know, various searches, many searches, etc., does seem strange to me that he didn't disclose before he died where Peter's body was, if he is guilty of killing Peter. And then many people aren't quite sure. I don't know if I'm quite sure about this whole case. I don't know loads about it. There's probably those of you out there probably know more about this case than I do, because I'm I remember it. I remember reading about it, you know, but I haven't really investigated it properly until, you know, just when this guy died the other day. So that's what we're going to talk about in a minute. But first of all, I'm going to just be gone a couple of minutes. And while I'm gone, I'm going to put a word from our sponsor, a word from my sponsor, which is me, of course, just about my book or books. Thank you to those of you that have bought my books. I think quite a few of you have bought my books. Thank you. Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Did you ever want to know a little bit more about me and my background, how I came to become interested in true crime, how I ended up in Spain being a Spanish teacher? If you want to know a little bit about me, a little bit more about me as a person, you can find my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, on any Amazon site, wherever you live in the world. And I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and this is my story. So it's the story of how I grew up in Manchester in the UK on a council estate, and very humble beginnings, and my journey through personal tragedies, disastrous romances, and triumphs to become a single mum, a Spanish teacher, and an interpreter living in Spain, and eventually a YouTuber reporting on true crime. So it details my various experiences with people and places over 20 years of teaching, over 20 years now. Ooh, where did that go? Of teaching Spanish and interpreting through the backdrop of the recession, financial uncertainty, severe flooding, and living through COVID. I hope you will find it funny, sad, amazing, silly, serious, and stranger than fiction at times. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to make you angry at least once. I hope to make you cry at least twice, and I hope to make you laugh many, many times. So thank you for all your support on my YouTube channel, and if you want to know a little bit more about me as a person, then you can find out there. So thank you so much. See you very soon in the next video. And as always, till then, may your God go with you. Bye. Hola, soy Vicky. And are you wanting to learn Spanish? Have you been trying to learn Spanish and it's just you can't put the words together? Common thing that people say to me is I know a lot of words, but I just can't put a sentence together. So I'm here to tell you how you can learn Spanish through English. Learn how to make sentences, not phrasebook Spanish. Learn how to ask questions, answer questions. Right from beginner or whatever level you are, if you're struggling in putting it all together, there'll be a level I can offer you a solution. So I've been teaching Spanish for over 20 years to English-speaking people. And these are the books that I have written. Break the Language Barrier Level 1 for beginners. Level 2 for intermediate or sort of pre-intermediate. Level 3 intermediate. Level 4 upper intermediate. And Level 5 for advanced. There's really Level 5 is to practice what you've already learned. So if I'm back. So yeah, let's just watch this. As I say, this is a case I'm not that knowledgeable on. There's other cases that I talk about that I'm much more knowledgeable on, and this is not a case that I know a lot about. So I've been researching it, and I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to play this video, which I think is very interesting, talking about it. Okay, let me just take that off. Hope I'm not being haunted by Annabelle now. I mean, the one thing I do know is so very sad because Peter Falconio, his family have never had his body, you know, to be able to say goodbye to, lay to rest respectfully, etc. You know, where is he? Why has his body not been found? I think these things are very important, aren't they? But anyway, let's watch this video. That will give you more of a background if, like me, you're not that sort of sure about it.
Falconio's body still missing. And wait till you hear what the killer's family has to say. I'm Hugh Whitfeld. Welcome to The World. In this episode, it's 24 years since Peter Falconio was shot dead by Bradley John Murdoch in a remote part of Australia's Northern Territory. Falconio was 28 years old from Yorkshire in the UK. In 2001, he arrived in Australia with girlfriend Joanne Lees. They were just a few weeks into a round Australia road trip when they stopped.
Yeah, that's it, Joanne Lees. So it's just anyway, when you hear the story of what happened, it does seem strange, but then you can't believe that she could be involved in this. But I remember at the time, one thing that I do remember, although, you know, because when this happened, I wasn't really that into true crime as I am now, didn't take loads of notice of it. You know, things are on the news, aren't they? And you sort of vaguely remember them, but not all the details. But I remember feeling a little bit, oh, this is a strange story. And I think the general feeling at the time was that the girlfriend did know more about it than she appeared to. But I don't know that that's true. She's had to sort of live with those accusations ever since, really.
North of Barrow Creek, about 300 kilometres from Alice Springs in the remote centre of Australia. They'd been waved over by a driver who'd been following them. Falconio got out after being told there were sparks coming out of their orange combi van. He was shot in the head.
Now, I just want to say something about that. This is something that happens quite a lot in my area. People driving past you and they beat you, point to your car tyre. Now, they don't shoot you in the head, hopefully, like this guy supposedly did to Peter, but they're trying to rob you. It's a common thing here. So, if somebody's make sure you don't stop. Somebody's driving past you. I mean, like maybe they do it in the UK or any other country as well, but particularly in this area of Spain, you hear about it a lot where they're trying to catch out people who are tourists. Because the thing is that tourists are always a target because they tend to carry money around with them and phones and cameras and iPads and, these kind of things. So that's what they do. They beat you, or flash their lights at you, point to your back tyre to try and get you to pull over because you think there's something wrong with your tyre or something wrong with your car. And then they're like in a team, so one of them will distract you looking at the tyre, talking, and the other one will be in your car seeing if you've left your handbag in there or any valuables. So that's a common what supposedly happened here is a common trick, if you like, by people, not only murderers. I mean, why did he shoot Peter in the head immediately like that? But anyway, supposedly that's what he did. Literally, as soon as Peter got out the car, he was shot in the head.
After being told there were sparks coming out of their orange combi van, he was shot in the head. Lise was bound up and kidnapped, but she later escaped into the shrub and raised the alarm. Make no mistake, this happened in the middle of nowhere. Fear was quickly rampaging through isolated outback communities and backpackers, most of them from overseas, who travel to Australia for new experiences. The movie Wolf Creek, inspired by this real-life horror. At the time, Falconio's family hoped he'd be...
Oh, that was interesting. I thought Wolf Creek was inspired by Ivan Milat, but I'm probably wrong. He's another one that I'd like, one day I'll have to do. I don't think I've done a video about Ivan Milat. Another piece of scum, basically. But yes, Alana, I do that. I'm just warning other people there. I'm aware of these things. I would never stop for someone. In fact, it's happened to me, someone pointing at my town, I've just carried on driving. I would go to a police station and stop outside there before I would have a look. But believe in call. I always call my angels, not only for things like that, like when I don't feel safe, but if I'm going into a place and I think, oh, this is going to be awkward, I don't know if it's going to work out properly or not. I always call my angels to look after me, but also to have a talk to the angels of the other person. Like, say I'm going in somewhere to take something back to a shop, and I think, oh, this might be difficult. Maybe I haven't got the receipt, or, I don't know. These are just examples I'm thinking of. So before I go in, I get my angels to go and talk to their angels. So put them in a good mood. Because, the thing about in Spain, everything's arbitrary. It's not like, oh, this is the rule and this is what happens. It's like, depends how they feel on the day. So you can. So, yeah, angels, very important to talk to your angels.
Found alive, but it soon became a huge manhunt for a killer thought to have been driving a Toyota Land Cruiser with a canopy. There were reenactments and a reward for information. Police eventually tracked down Bradley John Murdoch, linking him to the crime scene using DNA. An elastic hair tie belonging to Joanne Lees was found in his ute. The lead investigator was...
Well, the thing is, you can't really argue with DNA, can you? It's difficult to argue with DNA. And if he had an elastic hair tie belonging to Joanna in his car, how else could that get there if he was at the scene? So... unless he was at the scene.
Is Colleen Gwynn.
Look, Bradley Murdoch's name came up very early on in the investigation. He was always a person of interest. But unfortunately, with the sheer volume of information that came through, there was a number of persons of interest. But then through a elimination process, we realised that he was very much near the top of our list. He certainly fitted the description that Joanne had given. And then as we went through and understood Bradley Murdoch's movements, then we understood that he often went through the Alice Springs and through that route on his way to running drugs from South Australia into Western Australia. So it very much put him in the picture. There was a whole raft of evidence, including the D-shirt and within the combi van that they were driving in. That was really critical in terms of getting a prima facie case and then adding all the other circumstantial evidence that put it beyond reasonable doubt.
In 2005, Bradley John Murdoch was sentenced to life in jail for the murder of Peter Falconio and Joanne Lee's attempted murder. This week, 24 years and 1 day since the murder, Murdoch died. He'd had cancer and had been moved from the Alice Springs jail to a palliative care unit. Peter Falconio's body has never been found.
Well, you would think, this guy, why couldn't he at least have said where Peter was? Well, maybe he doesn't believe in the afterlife, but he could have salvaged his soul a little bit, couldn't he, by at least being sorry, for what he did to Peter and revealing where his body was to help his family out. That would go a long way to stop him spinning in eternal damnation, surely. I just, and the other thing is, why did he do it? It does seem like, I suppose, robbery maybe was a motive, or maybe he was thinking of assaulting Peter's girlfriend, so maybe SEX was partly the motive, maybe a combination of the two. Maybe he just saw an opportunity. It just shows you can't even feel safe when there's two of you travelling together. The thing is, these twonks, they'll always take advantage of situations, won't they?
Territory Police saying in a statement, it is deeply regrettable that Murdoch has died without, as far as we are aware, ever disclosing the location of Peter Falconio's remains. His silence has denied the Falconio family the closure they have so long deserved. We continue to appeal to anyone who may have information that could lead us to Peter Falconio's remains to come forward, no matter how small the detail may seem. A reward of 500,000 Australian dollars is available to anyone providing information that leads to the discovery.
I mean, that's a lot of money, isn't it? $500,000. Because even though this guy is deceased, maybe he told somebody, or did he just, maybe he didn't want to say where Pete was because that's admitting to his family that he did it, because I believe his family believed that he didn't do it, as often happens. So maybe the reason he didn't try and save his soul and disclose why Peter was because he doesn't want to disappoint his family. But it's a shame that he didn't.
Of Peter Falconio's remains. The case isn't really closed, according to police in the Territory. But here's South Australia's Police Commissioner Grant Stevens.
The opportunity to, resolve that part of this horrific crime is now lost forever. I can't imagine what the family are going through, but I'm sure they were hopeful that, prior to his passing, he would have disclosed the location of Peter Falconio's body. And I think that's an absolute tragedy. I think there's an element of evil there and malevolence that he just had no compassion and took this to the grave with him, not without any regard for the impact it would have on the Falconio family.
There are those who hold out hope there may be clues hidden somewhere. Here's Colleen Gwynn again.
I'm hoping that he's spoken to someone about the whereabouts of Peter, talked about what happened after he committed those crimes, and perhaps now that he has passed, that those persons may either be less intimidated to come forward and provide that information to police, or be enticed by that large reward to come forward.
Following Murdoch's conviction in 2005, Joanne Lees spoke outside court in Darwin. 7 News has been speaking with Peter Falconio's parents. They've told us in a statement, the awful thing is our family's future with Peter was cruelly taken away. Upon hearing that Murdoch had died, they said, our first feeling was of relief. It's like a weight has been lifted. Even now, we still hold out hope that his remains will be found. Today is no doubt tough for them. Then there's Bradley John Murdoch's family and his supporters. There are even those who, after all these years and all the evidence, forensic and circumstantial, believe Murdoch didn't do it. His family embarking on a very...
You know, I mean, this is this denial that we talk about a lot. If there was that DNA evidence and her ponytail thing, her, hair thing was found in his possession, then really that's pretty damning evidence, isn't it? I mean, I can see that you don't want to believe that your loved one has done something like that. And we've seen the power of denial, haven't we, in many cases that we talk about. It's pretty scary, actually, how much denial people can be in. But normally, once the forensic evidence confirms things, like in this case, why would he have her ponytail thing in his possession? Why? So that to me would just seem obvious he was there at the scene. DNA. You cannot argue with DNA.
Very public campaign of character rehabilitation. To many, they say Bradley Murdoch is known only for the events that led to his conviction in 2005 for the murder of British backpacker Peter Falconio, a crime for which he has always denied responsibility from his arrest until his death. But to those who truly knew him, he was much more than the headlines, they say. When given the opportunity, Brad was a devoted father, father-in-law, and proud poppy who never missed a chance to brag about his grandchildren. He was a beloved brother, uncle, and friend. Throughout his years in custody, Brad was well liked and respected by fellow inmates and correctional officers alike. He earned the affectionate title of uncle from many Indigenous prisoners, recognising his efforts to offer guidance, support and practical help whenever he could.
So, yeah, they're making him out to be some sort of, saint or whatever, such a lovely person, a good father. But, we know, again, from the crime stories that we cover, the people that commit the crimes, they're often nice people on the surface, aren't they? Let's just listen to that again, what they say about him being a dad and a granddad and a this, that and the other. Psychopaths, they often do have normal lives as well. They compartmentalise their lives so successfully. Now, the thing is, I don't know if Bradley had ever done anything before. Does seem strange that he would suddenly do this, but maybe he just took an opportunity. There it was. He was driving. He's seen these people driving. Maybe he knew they were tourists. Maybe he could see it was a hire vehicle that they were in. Maybe it was just like, oh, this opportunity is too good to miss. Or maybe he had done it before. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't his first rodeo, hey? We don't know really, but so what they're giving him like a character reference, but that doesn't mean to say that he didn't do it, does it? Lots of nice people do terrible things. So yeah, when given the opportunity, that's a bit of a caveat, isn't it? Brad was a devoted father, father-in-law, proud poppy, who never missed the chance to brag about his grandchildren. He was a beloved brother, uncle, and friend. But the thing is, he didn't respect the man that he shot in the head. He was also a son, a devoted son, boyfriend, maybe brother, cousin, uncle, whatever. It's like these psychopaths, they don't think of other people's families as being as important as their family. It's like, they can detach from that because it's not mine. It's not my son. They might have sons that they love and grandchildren that they love, but they don't give a shit about that son because it's not their son. This is how psychopaths are. And they can put on very good a very good disguise to the outside world. We see it over and over again. And that's why people can never believe sometimes. The more normal that somebody seems, the less that people can believe that they could do anything terrible. Like Lucy Letby, because, she's just this young girl, she couldn't do that because she doesn't look like, she's just a normal girl. People are evil inside. Erin Patterson, she's a good mother. She wasn't a good mother. She had all this evil lurking inside her, and men, as men or women, it's the same for everybody. A psychopath is an absolute master at hiding in respectable society.
Brother, uncle, and friend. Throughout his years in custody, Brad was well liked and respected by fellow inmates and correctional officers alike. He earned the affectionate title of uncle from many Indigenous prisoners, recognising his efforts to offer guidance, support and practical help whenever he could. They go on to say that he had hoped to be granted mercy, a form of clemency available under Australian law.
I found him completely different than what I expected. He was quite articulate. And this is a person who was pretty rough and ready, what I call a man's man. And he had beautiful handwriting. He hardly made a mistake in pages and pages of instructions. He gave evidence that...
He had beautiful handwriting. He couldn't possibly be a psychopath if he had beautiful handwriting. Honestly, some of these lawyers, you just think, no offence, but come on, look at him. He had beautiful handwriting. So, yeah, he must be innocent, mustn't he?
He wasn't guilty. And a couple of days later, the jury came back and said he was guilty. No, he's always maintained his innocence to me.
Crime author Robin Bowles befriended Bradley John Murdoch during his time in prison, interviewing him multiple times over 3 years, spending around 50 hours with the murderer.
In regard to the question about will we ever know where the body is, Brad's always said that he doesn't know where the body is because he didn't kill Peter Falconio. And I think he's stood by that the whole time he's been in prison. I've spent a lot of time with Brad Murdoch and he's told me a lot of things, bad things that he's done. He's not a good man. He wasn't a good man by most standards, but he wasn't a killer.
Now she's saying he wasn't a good man, but his family are making him out to be a practical saint. I can't be doing with these do-gooders. She's like, she's been, did a lot of bad things, but he didn't kill Peter Falconio. Well, he obviously did.
I believe, and I believe him absolutely that he didn't kill Peter Falconio.
So who did
Now,
then?
just a reminder, Bradley John Murdoch was found guilty of murdering Peter Falconio. There was DNA evidence.
Exactly.
Murdoch's blood was found on Joanne Lee's shirt. His defence was that they may have brushed up against each other at a Red Rooster, a fast food restaurant, earlier that...
That's right. He said that he might have brushed up against her at a chicken restaurant. And then later at some point he said he was allergic to chicken or something. So of course that happens all the time, isn't it? You go to a chicken restaurant and you brush up against someone and you get blood all over you. That happens all the time.
That day. The prosecutor at the 9-week trial, Rex Wild QC, described him as not a crazed gunman, but cunning, alert, fastidious, meticulous. The murder, he said, was premeditated. As a 21-year-old, Murdoch had been given a suspended sentence after hitting and killing a motorcyclist in South Australia. He had previously been to jail for shooting at people at an Indigenous football match in Western Australia. In 2003...
Wow. So he'd already been accused of killing someone. He'd been shooting at people. He's not a nice person. His family making him out to be some sort of saint, for God's sake.
He was
and his lawyer saying, he had beautiful handwriting.
Acquitted of raping a 12-year-old girl. He was
acquitted of raping a 12-year-old girl. Oh my God. Now, obviously he was acquitted of that. But, when I did jury service, One of the cases I sat in on was somebody who's accused of molesting a child. And I think they were maybe about 12, 11 or 12. And when they got up into the dock, they had to give evidence, the defense lawyer just wrapped them in, just wrapped them in knots. Because you try asking a 12-year-old to remember exact details of what happened a year earlier. And this defense lawyer, it was horrible watching actually, because the guy probably was guilty, but the victim and his friends, they just sort of melted in the dock really, because the defense lawyer was intelligent, clever, tricked them out, got them to say wrong days, wrong times, challenged everything they said. And in the end, this poor kid, a lad it was, just didn't know, he did sort of cock up his story. Now, it may be that the guy was innocent and the lad got his story wrong because it was wrong. Maybe it was not a true accusation. But it didn't come over like that. It came over that he literally, like any 12-year-old would, 11, 12-year-old would, or any if you ask me what July the 12th last year, even though you might have had this altercation with someone or this incident, you would remember the incident, but would you remember the exact times and things like that, what day it was? Don't know if you'd remember all that, and especially if you were young. So what I'm trying to say is, although he was acquitted, and we must just think of him as innocent of that because he was acquitted, doesn't necessarily mean, in my opinion, that he was innocent. Not in combination with all the other things that he did. If that was just the only thing he was ever accused of. But, he's a bad man. He's a bad man.
Drug user known to sip amphetamine-laced tea and smoke marijuana. Bradley Murdoch would have been eligible for parole in 2032, but under the Northern Territory's no body, no parole laws, he would have had to have revealed his secret about what he did with Peter Falconio's body to be considered for release. The question for detectives now, does anyone else hold Murdoch's secrets? Let's dive into 5 other big stories we're following right now. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson is back.
Yeah, sorry, no, we're not going to jump into the other stories. So what do you think? I mean, let me know what you think. Do you think that, the guy is guilty and he was guilty and for some unknown reason, probably because he doesn't want to admit his family, to his family, that he's lied all these years and said that he didn't kill Peter. He won't want to admit that to his family, so that's perhaps why he's not admitted it on his deathbed. But you know what? He'll be paying for it now. He'll have gone to hell. To just sort of stop someone like that and then just shoot them in the head and, and then not disclose where their remains are, torture their families for many, many years. Just put all that together with all the other things that he did. He's definitely going downwards, not upwards, isn't he? So there you go. You think, Bluebell, you don't think anyone else knows he's dead and he's taking it to the grave? Oh, hi, Andy. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. That's very kind. Let me put my thank you on. Very sad, isn't it, for Peter's family? Very sad. Because, they said that they were relieved. Didn't they? It was like a weight being lifted, him dying, but also it sort of takes away that possibility that they ever will find out where Peter is. Or will it make it more likely that maybe somebody else knows, who now that Bradley is deceased, they'll come out. I mean, that's a massive reward. There's a big reward there. If anybody else does know, and it may be that nobody else does know. I mean, he's obviously hidden him somewhere out in the outback, I would say. And of course, it's so massive. I know there's been lots of searches, but so far they've been unsuccessful. But somebody might come forward. He might have said something to one of the prisoners. Just something might come out. Now he's no longer here. That's all we can hope, isn't it? That maybe somebody else then will come out and say, well, actually, this guy Bradley told me that he'd left the body here, there, or everywhere. Hope you're having a wonderful day as well, Andy. Hope you're having a wonderful day too. Yeah, I think there's a problem with the girl. For some reason, as I say, I don't know all the ins and outs, but there was some, I mean, it's a shame for her, because if she had nothing to do with it, why did people doubt her? Why did people doubt her? Now, it's important to say that Mr. Murdoch, he had unsuccessfully appealed twice to overturn his convictions. So, he did try and appeal, but he never got anywhere. So there's, you can't really argue with DNA evidence, can you? So let's just have a look at Joanne. There was an interview. Well, there's been quite a few. She's done quite a few interviews. Yeah, his family say he was a gentle giant. I mean, come on. Let's see what we've got here. Can I find an interview? Let's just have a little look at her. I think the body language experts, so-called, of course there are no body language experts really, they were a bit down on her, I think. Let's see. Just want to have a look at a little bit of her interview. See if I can find it on here. So there's lots of documentaries, of course, about it. Let's just see if I can. Yeah, the body language people were quite down on her. I want to see her being interviewed. Right, let's put, where's the sound?
But she wouldn't speak to the press.
So maybe she knows a bit more.
Joanne, that now is the time to go out.
Oh, that wasn't really much of an interview with her, but yeah, I'm sure there are interviews of her out there. Yeah.
Are you going to come up?
Oh, kangaroo, look at that, the price of that. Oh my God.
You going to join me for a cup of coffee?
Kangaroo. I do like a kangaroo. Yes, well, Alana, I can't comment on colour combinations today. I've got that many colours on. Just all went wrong today, colour coordination wise. Normally, I do like to be colour coordinated. Yeah, should I have a look at a few wombats actually? Oh, I do love a wombat as well. I do love a little wombat story, as long as it's a happy one. Sometimes the sad ones, I can't cope with them. Let's finish off with a little wombat story. Oh. Sorry, I'm just laughing. Wait till you see the size of this. Oh my God. Now, I didn't know much about wombats until over the last year, since I've been following these wombat organisations. Oh my God, they're massive. They're grown massive. Look at the size of that wombat. This is one of our portly pork pies, Pinga. I raised her 8 years ago. So, God, she was orphaned in a hunt. She's a right little rascal and she lives in our main sanctuary, but she still comes home every night to play inside. She's very naughty wombat. And she came home the night before last with a stubbed toe. I know this may sound insignificant, but it can lead to life-threatening infections. Oh, bless. They generally stub their toes playing or running, and Pinga has a long history of weird and wonderful things like this. So she's on a week of bed rest. Look at the size of her. Oh my God. Bloody hell. Oh, and she's got a little bandage on. Bless her. Let's have a look at a wombat video to cheer us up. Oh. They do get big though, don't they? You know, they start off so tiny when they are, when they orphan them. And then they get massive. God. Sort of like a cross between a bear and a dog and a mole and a bit of everything. So cute. Let's find some baby ones. This is Fraggle. I'm not going to look into this story because I hope nothing's happened. I've been following Fraggle's story. They haven't been well, bless them. So I don't want to hear any sad stories. So this is Kevin. Oh, here's a baby one. Look at the tooth. It's got one pickle stabber tooth. So cute. Oh, so cute. Here's one having a bit of a mad half hour. Oh, this is Fraggle again. He's having a little zoomies. Oh, I don't know how these people do it because it's lovely. You do get some lovely things like see these little ones like this and save their lives. But there's some very sad stories. That's why I couldn't do it. I couldn't cope with the sad stories. Just couldn't cope with it. No. Leave me alone. I was asleep there. I was sleeping all cozy. You're disturbing me. Disturbing me. Alana. Oh dear, you can't think of the drop-ins on the road. But, you know, I don't know. You've just got to, I think with animals, you just, just accept it, don't you? You do a lot of cleaning. I spent my whole life cleaning up after my 3 dogs. Oh. But yeah, they rescue these animals. It's fantastic. What does their teeth get me? Look at their teeth. They rescue these. Oh, God, the size of it. Because a lot of them, like kangaroos is the same. They get orphaned, because their mums get run over or, I don't know, hunted or whatever happens. And so these little ones, they would die otherwise, wouldn't they? Because they're not old enough to live without their mums, and these people take them on. And sometimes they find them and they're ill, and you know, they have to go through heartbreak. It's the heartbreak I couldn't cope with. Let's have a look for the kangaroos. I mean, the kangaroos, of course, they grow massive as well, but when you see them when they're just little ones, so cute. Now they start off so tiny. Look at little Pippa. She's a lot bigger now, but look at her, so cute. And they have to take them out and teach them how to hop, but she just wants to get back in her pouch. Yeah, thank God there are people who do these kind of things. Thank God for them. So cute. You know, they deserve to live as well. So, just like us. Okay, so I hope the kangaroos and wombats have made you smile. So that was 3 things that we've talked about today. The ongoing search for Travis Decker, the murdering father who murdered his 3 daughters. God. You know, and I feel for his wife, because, well, apart from the fact, as I say, that she's lost her daughters. But she must be scared that he's going to turn up at her door. You know, she just must be scared that he could turn up again. You know, if he's out there somewhere, nobody knows where he is he going to come for her? So that's terrifying. And then, of course, terrifying in a different way was the Annabelle doll. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think that the curse of the Annabelle doll is real? Or do you believe in things like that? Or do you think it's just a coincidence that the psychic investigator that's been taking her on tour has died mysteriously? And then last of all, we talked about Peter Falconio and the sad fact that his murderer has now died. Not that that's sad, but sad that he's died without letting Peter's family know where Peter is. So that's quite sad, isn't it? You know, but will somebody else come forward now, maybe say where his remains are? Hopefully they will. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here, listening to me, watching, liking, subscribing. Special thank you, of course, to Andy, who sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. I'll see you all tonight. Maybe tonight. I'm not sure what time yet, because as I say, the Lionesses are playing tonight. I'm not sure what time, or even if I may change it till tomorrow, but I'm going to check it all out and I'll let you know. There will be a members live this week, just not quite sure if it'll be tonight. I'll see you very soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. Bye.